Hey, fourth grade, I wanted to record a quick video about this Scratch Junior Space Project Challenge. So, your goal is to create a Scratch project that models how the moon orbits the Earth and how we see different phases of the moon. For this project, always start by looking at your project requirements, which are right here in this yellow box. You want to make sure that you have a space background. You're going to need at least 3 sprites. Those sprites would be the Earth, the moon, and the sun. Um, for this project, you want to center the Earth at x0 and y0. Your sprite for the sun can be off to a side, any side, but you want to pick which side it's off to first because your moon phases will be different if it's on the left side, the right side, the top, or the bottom. So make sure you have your sun set to a location first. Then we are going to work on the moon traveling around the Earth. And I'm going to show you a few different ways that you might do that. And you want to make sure it doesn't crash into the Earth. So it should be going all the way around without touching the Earth. And then you are going to be making at least 4 costumes for the moon. So in this video, I'm just going to show you a few ways to get your moon to travel around your Earth. I'm going to show you how to make sure your Earth is set at 0, 0. And then I'm going to show you some ways that you might make those costumes as well. So taking a look over here in my project, so I've got my Earth right here. That's the first thing I'm going to show you. So make sure you're selected on Earth, and setting your size to 0, 0 is as simple as putting 0 and 0 in the X and Y box. 0, 0 is the center of the screen. So then your moon will be able to travel around. So depending on where your sun is on this screen, you could have the moon travel around and be in different phases. So one way that I have here is if my sun starts right here, which just so happens to be negative 200x, 100 for y. And if my sun is over here and my moon starts right here, that is when the new moon happens, when the sun and the moon, or sorry, the moon is between the sun and the Earth. And then once I get over here, this is where my full moon is going to happen. So I want to make my moon travel around. Now, taking a look at this code, let's see, I'm in my moon. Let's see. I have a few different versions of my code here. I wanted to see how many ways I could beat this project. So you only need to beat it one way. I know we don't have endless class time, but I was kind of playing around with it. So I'm going to show you a few different ways. So this is the way, oh, if it will stay, this is the way that I beat the project the first time. So I'm just going to pick apart my code here. So I said when green flag clicked, my moon is going to go to that spot there right between the Earth and the sun. And I know that that is going to be my new moon phase. So when I went and made my costume, I made sure that I just had a blank ball that looked completely dark. And that's what I have right here at the top of my code switch costume to new moon. Then all I have, the easiest way to beat this challenge is to use your glide blocks. And so literally all I did was dragged my moon a little bit around, and notice my X and my Y changes as I do that. And so I just drug another one over to find that glide to X and Y. I just look in my motion section. I scroll down until I found it, glide to this X and Y. And the great thing about Scratch is you don't even need to know exactly what your X and Y is, because as you can see over here in this panel, it changes it for you. Sorry, it keeps shifting my screen over. So once I had all of the glides in there, then all I had to do was insert my switch costume button into the right spaces. So once I have this one complete, I click green flag. My moon is shifting right here. There it goes. Oop, I need to fix part of my code. So you can see right here it's correct, new moon, but right here it doesn't do the right thing. So that's just because I changed the name of this one. So I changed it to waxing first quarter. So I just need to change the words to waxing first quarter. Let's take a brief moment and look at costumes here. I'm going to click stop. let's look into costumes. And you guys can see that I have 4 costumes for my moon. I actually made my full moon first. And all I did to do that, I'm just going to move my stuff over here. All I did to do that was to go to the paintbrush. Actually, I went to this one first. This one lets you create a brand new sprite. But once you have that, you can use any of the tools here. So obviously the moon is a circle. I used the circle first. Don't want a purple moon, don't want it that big. So you just make your adjustments here and there. Use your colors to find a good moon color. You can do white, you can do off-white. I went for like a light kind of tan color. Your moon can be this simple. It doesn't have to have the cool craters and stuff, but the cooler you make it look, the more people are going to enjoy your project. So I do recommend adding a little bit of detail. From here, all I had to do was 2-finger click on a Chromebook, but I just need to right click because I'm using a mouse, and I click duplicate. Now from here, I can make this filled in with a dark color, and there's my new moon. So from here, I do recommend make sure you are naming your costume. New moon. This one is my full moon. And then, yeah, from there, I'm just going to hop back over here to my actual sprite. I just use the paintbrush tool to fill in on top to my different sides of my moon until I was happy with it. So it's as easy as just playing around with the tools. Remember, if you make any mistakes, that you have that undo button here. Definitely use your shape tools so that you are not drawing every single thing by hand. And also just remember that right here you have a zoom in and out tool, which can let you add some fun details if you feel like it. From here, you can also add the other parts of the moon's cycle if you would like. I think it would look really cool if you included a waxing gibbous or a waning gibbous, and the waning crescent, waxing crescent. But that is totally up to you. In the project, I only require to use 4 costumes for the moon, so this does beat my challenge. So I just wanted to show you last little thing is I was looking for other ways to beat this challenge. So I found 2 other codes that would beat this challenge. So obviously this one is nice. This is the one I already showed you. Let's get rid of this sprite here. This is the one I already showed you for the moon. Here it is. And this one goes on forever. I just have it one loop, one big forever loop, and it'll go around forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It'll just keep repeating that. The next one that I have here is a lot more fast. It's a little more technical. You can just take a look. Now this one starts when I click spacebar. So I'm just going to start by separating it off so that you guys can look at that first starting bit of code. So what I did was I told the sun to start in a different way. I said, when you receive spacebar, we're going to start in a different spot. What's important is no matter where your sun starts, as long as your moon is between the sun and the earth, that is when it's a new moon. Because the sun is lighting up the back side of the moon, we can't see that. So wherever your sun starts, if your moon is right here, it's a new moon. If you happen to start your moon over here, that's a-okay. Just make sure it's a full moon with your art here. So starting off, my space bar is going to set my moon's location and set my sun's location. And I made sure to start it with the appropriate costume. From there, all I did was I had X and Y change. So if I click on this, X will change by 10 and Y will change by 10. So if I just click on what I just separated out here, this happens 15 times. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 right there. And then all I did was I put that in here so that it would do it on its own. So if I click spacebar, it does it on its own. After it moves that far, then I want it to switch costumes. So now it's doing it like that. And then I just repeated that exact same trick over and over to make it go all the way around. So again, repeat 15 times. But notice the subtle difference is that I have to decide how my X and Y are changing. So to go down like that, the way that I did, I had to make X change by 10 because it gets bigger over here, but I'm still going down. And remember, your X goes left and right. Your Y moves you up and down. So if I'm kind of moving down on my screen, that's going to be a negative Y. If I want to move up on my screen like I'm about to, notice that it's going to be a positive Y. I'm still moving that same direction. So when it hits here, it's still a positive X. So just play around with it, see which one was correct. Literally all I did was I took these and I played with my minus and my plus until I figured out which one went down and right, which one went up and right, which one went left and right, or left and down and up and down and all that stuff. And then I just put them in an order. So once I have that, I can click spacebar now, and it just does one rotation. And that's a-okay. You don't have to do more than one rotation for the challenge. If I wanted this to do more than one rotation, though, let's keep that there. If I wanted this to go on forever like the other one, I just put the whole thing in a forever loop. Boom. And then it goes around forever, just like that. Notice this one's a lot more straight. It's a diamond shape because I'm changing my X and my Y by the same amount every time. The other one went more around because I was using that glide block. So it just depends on how you want to beat the challenge. All right. Whoops. I'll throw that away and keep this part here. All right, the third way that I beat the challenge. So I was like really racking my brain. How can I beat this challenge a third way? Because these first two were similar because they still use that X and Y. This last one is what I would call interactive. This one's like you kind of made a game, and if you don't interact with the game, then you don't get to beat the challenge. So this one, I just used a different event block. So there's all sorts of ways you can start your code. I used the green flag for the first one. I used this one for the second one. The third one that I used was in here as well. I just did the letter Z to start my code. And again, I have my sun starting at a different location when I click Z. Z. And I have some little clues here. So taking a look here, it says, what phase am I? My sun's over here. It's between the earth and the sun. My moon's over here. I mean, it's between the earth and the sun. So that means it's got to be a new moon. For this one, you have to actually type the answer. And I did this by using the sensing block called ask. So right here, we go to that certain location, we put ourselves in the right costume. I say, Earthlings can't see me. That's my clue to my game player. And I ask, what phase am I? And then I told it, wait until the answer, which is up here, equals new moon. So if I type in here, new moon, got to spell it right or else it won't be correct. It'll say correct, and then the code will continue. So from here, I just use a simple glide block to glide straight to the next location, and then I repeat that code. It changes the costume. It says, as I revolve around the earth, the sunlight's my right side. What phase am I? And then wait until the answer equals first quarter. So again, I used sensing blocks to ask this question, but notice under that, I used a few different color blocks to wait until I answered the question. One of those is a wait until block. It's one of the orange ones. Here it is, wait until. And notice it has kind of this diamond hexagon type block inside. And that is one of the green blocks. That one's called an operator. So these ones are really cool. It allows you to wait until something equals a certain value. And that value for this game is a word. It's going to be either new moon, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. And so all I did was I dragged that in. And then where did I get this little circle that says answer? Again, just notice the color. It's blue, so it's going to be in the sensing area. It actually gives you this option right here. So all I did was drag this in here, and notice if it lights up with a little white thing, then like a little white circle, then it would allow you to put that answer there. So I want to wait until it says the right thing. So we're going to put first quarter. Correct. Now there is a glitch on this part, and I'm gonna leave you with this glitch, although I figured out how to fix it. So in this game, if you misspell something, I'll show you right here. So let's say I wanted to say full moon, full, but maybe I misspell moon, mon, full mon. The game just stops. You didn't answer it right. The only way to fix it is to click stop Z and go back to the beginning. One way that I wanted to solve this was I gave a little cheat sheet for the answers here, but notice they're not in order. So people would have to know which quarter is correct. That's one way to do it. I also programmed these so that if I click them, they will hide. So if people want to say, no, I want hard mode, I can click it and those answers disappear. There is a way to fix this glitch so that that you get the game to continue instead of just stop right there and make them restart. But I'm going to leave that up to you if you're interested in figuring it out. So these were 3 ways to beat it. I showed you guys some tricks with costumes, and how that you don't have to like create the moon 4 times. You can just right click it, duplicate it. I hope that this helps you beat this challenge. I look forward to seeing your projects. I'll try and check them out. If you want me to check out your project, feel free to leave a comment in the classroom section and I will check it out. All right, bye. I hope you guys are having a great time.